So our final speaker of today will be Hampus, so please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see if my slides are going to roll after this. Tech is always exciting. Yeah, this might be a video. I'm just going to, oh, there we are. So I'm going to tell you how, two things essentially. How climate works. That's the part where you take all the notes, are super curious, you get to know everything about carbon equivalent. It's super, super exciting. It's just like being back in high school. Exciting. And then the other part I'm going to tell you is how to drive change. And you're in an industry, construction, which has a lot of problems. You know that. And it's not that you caused the problem, it's historical problems. When you build buildings, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of things that we can do better. And I'm going to tell you how you can do better. And I promise it's not going to be bitter medicine, it's not going to be the high school test, it's actually the second part is going to be the exciting part. Are you ready? Okay. Okay, the first part, I promise, it's going to be better than you think. Okay, So, first, climate, too long didn't read. I think you've all seen the news. Climate is a thing. Maybe it's human-made, maybe Republican, maybe it's not human-made. You don't know. Maybe it's a hoax. Bernie Sanders saying it's not really, like, he's trying to get elected because of it. I'm going to tell you some truths about it. So first of all, this is like all these classical diagrams. You see them immediately, and we start talking about maybe this is just a new ice age, maybe it's not, who cares, like it's complicated. And every time I see these things, I just realize, how on earth is a normal person going to understand if it's human-made or not, climate change? So I'll give you an easier chart, which is a summary of this. So this is the Mauna Luna annual CO2. So this is in Hawaii, probably pretty equal. This is how much CO2 is in the air of Hawaii. This is the temperature increase. And I don't know if you're noticing, but it feels like it's slightly connected. And I think these lines make it slightly more easier to understand, like maybe CO2 is connected to temperature. Maybe it isn't. So I'll get back to that later, but I do generally think that it seems like we're affecting the planet, and we're definitely in the Anthropocene. The Anthropocene being that we, humanity, we are the ones actually driving climate change. It's not ice age, it's not the distance from the sun, it's not American elections, some of them wish they were, but it's definitely all of humanity, and we're doing nasty stuff. So the second part is climate is extremely complicated. So when a lot of us are talking about climate change, we're talking about this little pie slice here called climate change. But the thing is, we also should be thinking about stuff like fresh water, is there plastic, about ozone, like the oceans are getting more acidic. And like the second I see those things, I realize, oh my God, you saw the previous diagram? This diagram, oh my God. And then even worse, you know what? These things are fucking connected. So it's like, oh my God, I don't have any clue how I should do it. And that gives us, a lot of us, just climate paralysis. We just go like, oh my God, this is like, I thought the stock exchange was complicated. This is even worse. And then you have another thing, which is all of these things are kind of linear and like they affect each other, so it's complicated. But then you have these even worse things, which are tipping points. So when certain things get over certain degrees, it just goes super quickly haywire. A very quick example is the north part of the globe is very white. I don't know if you noticed, but it is. Should be at least. And the thing is, white reflects light. You know the whole discussion, should you buy a white car or a black car, which gets warmer, which gets not? White reflects light. That's why it's white. The thing about white light is that it's all colors get back to your eyes. That's why it's white. White, combination of all colors. Black, all colors gets absorbed. All colors gets absorbed means it's get warmer. White, everything reflects out. What happens when the north of the globe used to be white, and then it largely turns darker? That means more of the heat coming in from the sun actually is absorbed. So that means that when we suddenly have the Greenland ice sheet melting, and when that gets over like 3 degrees, that means that's going to go faster. When the north of the globe, when you start getting the permafrost to melt of an Antarctica, you have all the captured methane. Kabam! And that's when you have a crazy, crazy climate effects. So when everybody's seeing like 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, we're not talking about like the temperature of your summer vacation. We're talking about when you get to certain points, it goes boom. And if it goes boom, nothing is fun when it goes boom. I can tell you. I have twins. They were born boom. Nobody appreciated that. Twin 1 out and twin 2 out, and it was like, okay, that was unnecessary. So TLDR on this one. It's a complex system. Can make us all stressed and tired. But then the thing is, then you start to look at what can we do to change it. This is where we're going right now, and up is bad. So we got to turn. The thing though is like you look at this is all we can do. And sometimes when I see those lists, you get even more kind of, oh my God, can't there just be a silver bullet? Can't there just like one thing and we can just pull that thing? Oh my God, there's no silver bullet. Do you know when I see this, I actually see a silver bullet in this, and that is we can all do something. If there was one thing we could do, but it's really, really hard, and it's like fusion, and it's like if fusion works, we're done. That means like all of us are just wasting our time. We should just donate all of our money to fusion research. The thing I see here is all of us can do something. And I'm not saying about like you as in, oh, maybe you should switch to a more insulated house, but where you work. We can do 4 huge things. Where you spend your money, where you like protest on the street, where you work, and what you vote. So those are the 4 things you can do. So, soon getting to the second part. But the last part is that we also need negative emissions. We need to bind carbon. Like if we just do what we do and just stop everything, we just stop like, oh, no carbon. Go, no carbon, no methane. All vegetarians, no cars, everybody just lies down, don't use deodorant. I don't know why, but all the real environmentalists don't use deodorant either. It's like, go hardcore. That doesn't help. We need to suck down carbon from the atmosphere and get it to break. How do we do that? Oh my God, I don't know. So I'll get back to that later. So if you don't remember anything from my talk, then climate change is human-made and it's accelerating, whatever Trump tells you. It's not called freedom gases, it's called greenhouse gases. There's a need of multiple solutions, and we need to reverse, reduce, and we need to adapt. We have to realize that some things will be gone. I'm not talking about a species or anything, but some things just won't happen in the future. We just need to adapt. Okay, that was the high school part. So how do we drive change? You can vote with your money, as I said. You can vote by going on the streets on Fridays and meet with Greta Thunberg. You can vote by actually voting, but you can vote by what you do for a living. And a lot of you are super smart people who know stuff that no one else knows or are unique in your capability. Honestly, you might not feel that right now, but honestly, I tell you. I meet a lot of people, most of them are really dumb. You're really smart. So you're super privileged, you're a 1% people that can actually do stuff with your job. So if you decide to go for an electric car, that doesn't matter half as much as where you work. If you work at a place that actually changes the world, that is way much more important. And I'm not talking about Greenpeace, because I think that the industry you're in, construction, is a big, badass thing. And if you don't want to work here, then please go to renewables, because you're in the second worst thing. So stay here and do good stuff. And now I can tell you what to do. So how do you drive change? So this is how agricultural land was developed. Oh, sorry, this is the high school chart. I'll give you a nicer one. So the nicer one is this, is there are 2 kinds of change in the world. There's type 2 change and there's type 1 change. So this is how much you got out of output of agricultural land. That was the chart I tried to show you. So these were a lot of the developing economy getting better. And this is a lot of the developed economy. You're not allowed to use those anymore. As Rosling was alive, he would be like, you cannot say developed and developing economy. It's not really. But like, let's just simplify it now. So in this world, you have type 1 change. Type 1 change is when we make good excellent. That's what that is about. Type 2 change is when we just remove really stupid stuff. So there are 2 kinds of innovation. And usually we don't really think about these because everybody talks about type 1 as it's the only thing. Type 1 are great improvements, but they're unlikely and they're very, very expensive. They're usually the ones we tag innovative. But type 2 are eliminating bad things, and the thing is they're very likely. You can do them. Type 1, innovation. Type 2, coordination. The reason I say that is because construction is an industry where, yeah, we can do a lot of innovation, but construction is an industry where we need coordination. And that's when Carl asked me if I'd come to speak here, I said yes immediately. 2 reasons. 1, A, yeah, you're one of the big bandits. B, BIMobject is a coordinator in an industry that if you work together, you can do massive climate change in a good direction. So let me give a couple of examples of type 1 and type 2. All of us like to talk about this. Bjarke Ingels, floating cities, bam, you can like have rice grown here and heliophytes to do the energy. It's like massive cool. Type 1 innovation. Think about the political endeavor of doing this. Think about the construction endeavor. Think about the economy. Like, this is type 1. If it works, it's amazing. We're all going to live on the sea in the future. We're all going to have our own food. There's going to be Netflix here as well, so you don't need to worry. But it's highly unlikely. If it works, it's great, but it's highly unlikely. So let's go and look at type 2 improvements that we can do. And they make a huge climate effect. So, 1, what if there was a magical way to bind more carbon? Well, I mean, the thing is, cross-laminated timber, wood, Let's make it simple. What if we could grow a thing, a machine, that sucks carbon out of the air, and then we cut this thing when it contains all the carbon, and then we put it somewhere. We don't burn it. We just put it somewhere so it's there. People love doing this, but they like suck carbon out of the air and make like rocks. What the fuck do you make rocks for? What are you going to do with a rock? Why don't you suck down carbon out of the air, make wood, and put it in buildings? It's fixed. Building buildings out of wood is an amazing way of capturing carbon. This is a negative emission just in front of you. This is just not moving from a cement. Cement is bad. But wood is not even not bad. It's good. Because the carbon is there. As long as this building doesn't burn, it's great. The carbon stays in there. That's amazing. Modular construction? Again, super simple. What if there was a way to design buildings more on site, more just in time, build huge buildings, and get them up there quicker with less materials? Modular construction, again, is this a huge innovation? It's a coordination problem. You could use your local suppliers, you could use like less waste and everything. Modular design, again, super simple, type 2, great for climate. Well, I don't know about you, but every time I see somebody going like, this is the way their staircase should look, and you come in, like, I build a house. And I mean, sometimes you come in there, you go like, I know this is a good drawing, but I think you can also have brains. This is the thing. There's just a stupid amount of waste in the construction industry. And like, if you can coordinate the different parties to make sure that people are not doing stupid stuff, this is massive. So what I'm going to say, trying to summarize this second part, is construction is in a time of coordination and to make it easy to do right. And that's why when Carl asked me, do you want to come? I feel like, yes. Because BIM, and you people in the room working with BIM, this is your game. You can coordinate an instrument so that people work together to not only reduce waste, but to suck down carbon out of the air and make it fixed in buildings or less materials. And that's why I'm super happy to be here as a climate investor. So thank you very much. That was all I wanted to say.